16-year-old trailblazer takes charge in House of Representatives to mark International Day of the Girl Child. Reps call for swift justice delivery to tackle delays in Nigerian legal system. Lawmakers urge use of technology to track ransom payments and combat banditry. Always a pleasure to have you join us on You and Your Reps. I am Victor, as welcome. 16-year-old Isabella Nani, a female student, presided as shadow speaker over a special plenary session of the House of Representatives to commemorate the International Day of the Girl Child, which is observed every October 11. The lawmakers passed resolutions to promote the welfare of the girl child and curb the menace of out-of-school children in Nigeria.
I advocate for you.
Speaker Tajuddin Abbas vacates his seat to allow Miss Isabella Nani act as shadow speaker, an initiative to honor the girl child. It's the first time a non-member will take charge of plenary, and the pro tem speaker did not disappoint.
I want a future where the healthcare system for girls isn't discriminated against due to socio-cultural factors that so wrongfully exist. Girls are breaking boundaries, regardless of the stereotypes and exclusion.
Ensure the swift passage of bills that seek to protect women and girls.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Isabel was chosen for this prestigious role after emerging first among candidates across Nigeria as part of our effort to empower young leaders.
Adopting other motions, lawmakers advocate better welfare for teachers and the expansion of the nation's tax base.
Urge the federal government to consider alternative revenue generation strategies such as widening the tax to capture more high-income earners.
Urge the federal government of Nigeria, the state government, and other stakeholders in the education sector to address without delay the plight of teachers in Nigeria.
The House sought relief for flood victims as well as preventive measures.
Urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation to reassess, fortify, and reconstruct the Alo Dam to forestall any future occurrence of floods.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Disability has been given a 4-week deadline to investigate public building plans without adequate access for persons with disability and make recommendations for further legislative action.
The threat of flooding in Ikwo and the Zar South Federal Constituency in Ebonyi State also sparked concern in the House of Representatives, as the member representing the area raised the alarm through a matter of urgent public importance, urgent swift action to protect lives and property.
We are riverine area, having a boundary with the Cross River. And the water that is flowing from that side of Bruno down to others is coming meeting to Cross River. And it is because our people, 98% of my constituents are farmers. This is where they farm, this is the land where they live and so many other things. But there is a pure revenge of water flood in those areas. Their crops, their houses, even loss of life. If not the intervention of the governor, that have even given some tokens and some intervention to the constituents and other part of Ebonyi State. It's not a problem of state government alone. As a lawmaker representing the people, it is my duty, and as elected by the people, to stand to speak the need why the federal government have to intervene, to rescue, to help, and relieve material to my constituents. We are equally asking other private individuals, let them come over to donate to my constituency for the leverage of the flood, because the rice you see, Abakaliki rice, are being cultivated in my constituency. And by all this kind of water revenge, so a lot of problem is going to occur, but so that they can manage to know what to do to still go back to the farm as the flood is going out.
Justice delayed is justice denied rang through the chambers of the House of Representatives as lawmakers called for urgent reforms to ensure a more efficient justice delivery system for all Nigerians. The call came after a motion was raised on the floor pushing for public hearings to address the growing concerns over delays in the country's legal process.
In some states of the Federation, cases at the High Court, which by their nature ought to be dispensed with within months, lasts between 4 to 5 years before judgment is delivered.
Of the number of persons in our correctional facilities, I can say that over 60 to 70% are people who are awaiting trial.
The public hearing of the Constitution Review should prioritize this issue that have been deliberated firmly by the House.
To address food crisis in the country, the House advocates implementation of the Export Prohibition Act to ensure food availability and reduce cost of living for Nigerians.
The failure to implement the said legislation over time has led to severe food shortages, high food prices, increased food insecurity, and the loss of revenue for farmers and the federal government.
Lawmakers frowned at incessant cases of building collapse in the country.
We are concerned about these challenges as it affects us as a nation. My prayer is to mandate the Ministry of Works Committee to ascertain the causes and report back to the House within 4 weeks for further legislative action.
The new American ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills, was the guest of Speaker Tajuddin Abbas. They called for stronger ties between Nigeria and the United States.
More deeper cooperations, more mutually beneficial relationship. I have no doubt in my mind you are the right man coming at the right moment.
I really very much in my first months here wanted to have a chance to talk to the Speaker about his priorities, about the priorities of the House.
The Speaker assured the envoy of the support of Nigeria's legislature in his assignment.
The House of Representatives has urged the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy to collaborate with security agencies in tracking ransom payments to bandits. The lawmakers emphasized the urgent need to leverage technology and financial intelligence to dismantle the operations of criminal syndicates plaguing the nation.
The spate of bandit attacks in Katsina State is once again raised as a motion of urgent public importance. The lawmakers want the security agencies to do more in tracking the bandits and bringing them to justice.
The situation has deteriorated to the point where bandits now often provide bank accounts for ransom payment to be made for kidnapped victims. Urge the security agencies to block such channels of communication and financial transaction used by the criminals.
This motion is referred to the Committees on Defense, Army, Police and National Security for further legislative action.
The House believes the loss of biodiversity in Nigeria's ecosystems can be addressed through deliberate climate change policies.
Incentivize MDAs to adopt sustainable practices by A. Ensuring MDAs with carbon credit potentials are given additional funding over their budget envelopes in the next year, starting from 2020.
In other resolutions, the House asked the federal government to review the budgetary allocation of the National Orientation Agency, which they say is grossly underfunded.
There is definitely an urgent need to implement measures for effective reorientation of citizens to curb vices, reorient the people, and encourage growth.
2 establishment bills passed second reading.
Bill for an act to amend the Federal Colleges of Education Act to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Education Oyin Akoko.
That this bill for the establishment of the Federal Institute for Vision and Optical Research in Nigeria at Erema, Garba Ibrahim local government area be read for the second time.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Environment has commenced investigation into the environmental impact of oil spills in some Niger Delta communities, with a view to restoring the livelihoods of the people and ensuring that oil companies conform to environmental standards.
While in a move to drive modernization, the House of Representatives has called for the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, to leave behind outdated methods and embrace innovative, tech-driven solutions to addressing breaches of road safety. Now, this push comes in response to a motion brought forward by Garba Ibrahim Mohammed, the representative of Gwale Federal Constituency in Kano State.
The purpose of this motion is to say that we don't want a situation whereby they are always lagging behind. I am looking for a situation where whatever traffic offenses a driver commits, just by mere taking of the plate number or by mere taking of the fingerprint of the offender, this will have his details from the National Identity Management Commission, and by taking the plate number, we'll know who owns the vehicle so that infractions can be conveyed to the offender of the commission. The present system whereby people are chased using vehicles or motorcycles is not the best practices because it is always prone to causing accidents and the rest. So by the time they have a data bank of all the drivers in Nigeria or all those who have licenses in Nigeria, so just by mere taking of the fingerprint, they can have everything. They can carry out whatever, or they can give sanctions to whatever offense that is committed. So this is the purpose of this motion, for the road safety to embrace use of modern technology to carry out their operations. So they have to be computerized, they have to be digital, they have to maybe apply in the near future artificial intelligence in their operations. So it's just telling them that they have to look at the future, not the current situation, so that Nigeria too is on the path of economic growth, for stability, and for our safety and security.
You are most likely to hear the phrase votes and proceedings in a plenary. But what does it really mean? Well, we asked Chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive, to explain it.
In a layman's language, it is the minutes of the meeting of the previous day or the previous sitting. That's what we call the votes and proceedings. Votes and proceedings because it records the proceedings of that day and the votes, the results of the question when it is put in every matter that came before the sitting of the House or the Senate, as the case might be. So was the result of that vote? Where the ayes have it or the nays have it, it must be well recorded. So the votes are very crucial in the, let me use the layman's language now, the minutes of meeting of the previous sitting. But here, that is referred to as the votes and the proceedings that took place in that particular sitting. Usually in the next sitting, those votes must be adopted, must be looked at, and where corrections are required, motion for that is moved and corrections are made, and then they are passed and they become working documents of the assembly. They are such that you can refer to as what actually happened on the floor on that particular day. So they are very important documents of the assembly.
The member representing Ndokwa Okwani Federal Constituency in Delta State, Nnamdi Ezechi, has reaffirmed his unwavering dedication to the needs of his people. Now, this pledge came during a courtesy visit from a delegation of the Okpai Traditional Council, led by Prince Emeka Wome. The delegation presented a series of requests from education and infrastructure to legislative matters.
As our representative, we encourage you to propose a bill for the creation of a commission dedicated to the development of communities hosting independent power plants across Nigeria, Such a bill would provide an avenue for the development of Okpai and compensate us for the environmental impact caused by the operation of Okpai Independent Power Plant.
In response, Representative Ezechi didn't hesitate, promising swift action to address their concerns, underscoring his commitment to delivering real change for his constituency.
Myself and my team, the SLA and the barrister in this office, will sit down and begin to respond as it may suit our people. That by the special grace of God, most of those things highlighted in this document will be attended to.
Representative Nnamdi Ezechi is a first-term member of the House. This week, we sit down with Ojo Sunday Makanjuola, the representative of Ogolua Surulere Federal Constituency of Oyo State. Now, as a first-time lawmaker, he opens up about his journey into the legislative world and the promises he's made to his constituents. With fresh energy and a clear vision, Makanjuola shares how he's navigating the corridors of power and working to bring meaningful change to his community.
During time of campaign, I go around to speak with my people, searching for their support to come into this elective position. One thing I do not do is that I do not promise them anything. My words to them is to ask, please, if I get to office, what do you want me to do for you? You know, a first-timer should not make a promise because you do not know what existed in that very place. So, I didn't make any promise. It's only 3 places that I actually made a promise. That if you give me your vote before the swearing, I will do this, which before the swearing, I was able to do it. My area is a Nigerian area, so it's a purely agricultural area, and their main challenge, nothing more than, first is water and also road, road access to market, their farm produce, and water is a serious challenge, which by the grace of God I was able to attend to about 18 communities now. Thanks to our governor, which he really guided us when we were coming to office, that he believed in continuity. That before we even start any project, we should take care of to maintain those ones that some other people have done, because he believed in continuity. We, by the grace of God, I was able, from my own pocket, I've repaired 40 boreholes between Ogolu and Surulere. Able to repair 40 boreholes. Also, I've been able to recruit over 30 soldiers into Nigerian Army. the grace of God. Also facilitate 6 blocks of classroom. Also distribution of palliative for over 5,000 people. Also distribution of fertilizer and other farm tools and farm inputs to the community. Also in the area of empowering the youth. The first phase of the empowerment program for over 100 people. That's about it's not early this year. Also, there's another ongoing empowerment with the youth, which they are going to complete the 5 days training tomorrow. That is over 50 people across the 2 local governments. And also construction of 2-kilometer road in Oko Township, Surulere. It's also part of what I've been able to do. Water is still of importance to them, and also road. We have issue of road challenge, seriously, because there are so many. We have in my constituency, we have about 1,216 both towns and villages altogether. You can see that though we have boreholes in some areas, which I still need to continue to repair, maintain some other boreholes others have done, and also new ones as well. There's one police college that had been abandoned 10 years ago, which at least if I get the help of God, let me say help of God, that they included it into 2025 budget. At least that will give that area another new face entirely. You know, in terms of employment of the youth, some will work as a teacher, some will work. So that will help that area. I'm planning that. Also, youth empowerment, very, very important.
Interesting, right? Well, that's where we leave it on you and your reps. Many thanks for watching. I am Victor, as well. Let's do this again, same time next week.